So I pulled up my maps here, and you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Why is it that the body of water that most borders our country is called the Gulf of Mexico? Where did that come from? Blake could probably tell us where it came from. It doesn't make any sense. So President Trump announced at the press conference that it will now be called the Gulf of America, which, by the way, more of our coastline borders this Gulf than Mexico. Why not? He's not the first to suggest it allegedly, but again, he's going to be the first to do it. San Antonio Express News writes, that's paywalled, so I can't go through that. This is a small example of the type of energy that is now coming back to the country. We're tired of being taken advantage of, and yes, it might be a little silly thing, but it's deathly serious. That it borders our country more than your country. The Gulf of Mexico got its name in the 1540s, according to the Texas State Historical Association. Spanish explorers and cartographers often called it Seno Mexicano, Seno meaning Gulf or Bay. Some documents also called the body of water Golfo de Nueva España, or Golfo de Mexico. Anyone can propose a geographic name and change it to the U.S. Board of Geographic Names. The president has authority to change it the same way that Barack Obama changed Mount McKinley to Denali. By the way, we're going back to Mount McKinley. Denali, I think, is done. I think the president has said that one before. That's ridiculous. 57, it's going to be the Gulf of America. This is in Spanish. This is the Mexican government speaking about the Gulf of Mexico, play cut 130.
Digo, obviamente, el Golfo de México es reconocido el nombre por Naciones Unidas, un organismo de Naciones Unidas, pero el siguiente, ¿por qué no le llamamos América Mexicana? Se oye bonito, ¿no? ¿Verdad que sí?
What is she saying? She wants to name our country Mexican America? Look, the Mexican government is going to have to get in line at some point. We could break the back of the Mexican government with a tariff threat overnight, and it wouldn't even hurt us. The Mexican government better let us go after the cartels, stop the human trafficking, the drug smuggling. The Mexican government has been complicit these last couple of years of the largest invasion in American history. And so, no, we're not going to call it the Gulf of Mexico anymore, as Mexico has allowed tens of thousands of sex slaves to come into our country. And by the way, all those military bases, why don't we fix those while we're at it? Getting back to Fort Bragg, get back to the original naming of these military bases. We need to de-wokeify the country. And it will now be called the Gulf of America. And it makes you wonder, why has no other president thought of this before? And it's important because other presidents are afraid of tough fights and offending. Like George W. Bush, what good did he do as president? Actually, he was a terrible president. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, they would never think to do something like this. They need some sort of board or commission or council of experts. President Trump said, we're just going to call it the Gulf of America. And Mexico better take back their invaders. Look, these countries, you're afraid of offending Mexico. I'm sorry, I'm afraid that we're losing tens of thousands of our own citizens to drugs coming from Mexico. I don't care if we offend Mexico. You guys are a poor, small country. You have no say in these matters. You guys have been poisoning our land for too long with drugs, with cartel members, and guns. You guys are one of the most murderous, bloody countries on the planet. Playtime is over. The Mexican economy is reliant on us for survival. Same thing with Denmark. What negotiating power does Denmark have? Yes, the great power of Denmark. Ooh, the Danish Navy, so scary. Or the Mexican Army, woo. Look, buckle up. The American Renaissance is about to launch, and the attitude is this: lead, follow, or get out of the way. We have real enemies. The Chinese Communist Party, that is a real enemy. First, we got to clean up our hemisphere. Panama, back to America. Canada, I don't know, I'm not there yet. Maybe Alberta, that's about it. Greenland, we were there yesterday or the day before yesterday. That one's already in motion. Greenland, what are the Danes going to do? Send us a strongly worded letter? President Trump says Greenland is going to be ours. What are they going to do? Type up a, no, this is a bad idea. Yeah, great, okay. Why don't you go access your nuclear arsenal, Denmark? Oh, you don't have one? Got it. It's in the Western Hemisphere. Why is it part of Denmark? Never should be. It's time that we consolidate power in the North American hemisphere, and then we look to the east and we confront our greatest enemy, the Chinese Communist Party. It will now be called the Gulf of America.